These proceedings are hereby called to order. Please be seated.
Ladies and gentlemen, honored guests, Emory trustees, faculty, candidates, and all who have given so much to nurture and support those who graduate here today, good morning to you. Welcome to the 165th commencement exercises of this university. This moment marks the culmination of years of study and preparation that have gone into your degrees. The presence of family here signifies the support, the love, and belief that you had that helped to make this moment possible. So to all, welcome to this time-honored and festive occasion. And now I call upon the Reverend Susan Henry Crow, Dean of the Chapel and Religious Life, to offer our invocation.
Let us pray. O Lord of the universe, be present as we celebrate this day. We know there is no more hopeful day than this. We gather with thankful hearts for this moment. We offer our gratitudes for those who made this day possible: parents, grandparents, family, friends, and those who bequeath scholarly pursuits. May this gift of higher learning inspire these graduates to allow their imaginations and intellects to soar. Help all who are endowed with privilege of education to continue to discover ways to serve humanity and all who suffer. Make us mindful of those for whom poverty and violence and war make it impossible to study and learn. Deepen our yearning and action for healing and hope to a sometimes dark and needy world. We pray for peace. Breathe inspiration into our hearts and minds, for these we uniquely honor this day. These honorees have crossed boundaries, fought injustice, faithfully served the academy and the university. These too have unfailingly defended, addressed, and been advocates for civil and human rights, have helped heal the world by building partnerships and inspiring the will to change, have artfully told the truth of the human spirit, have been visionary in eradicating debt and corruption and poverty and ignorance. All have given noble service to humankind. Keep before us the trust and aspirations of President Wagner, the trustees, the faculties, administrators, and staff who have worked tirelessly to make Emory a place worthy of scholarship, of moral imagination, of intellectual integrity, and confident in the power of service. O God of wisdom, accompany us in all the places we will go and all that we do. Give to us fellow travelers who help us remember our love for learning. And keep in your care all who remain gathered here, being a community and providing a place for these graduates to return again and again. Amen.
Well, class of 2010, you have every right to be proud of the accomplishments that have brought you to this day. And even as you have been privileged to receive at Emory an education of a kind that is not easy to achieve anywhere, I can assure you that those among the faculty and staff and administration of this university have felt privileged to spend these important years with you. Now, each graduating class, interestingly, those earning graduate and professional degrees, along with those finishing undergraduate careers, Each class seems to forge a distinctive identity for itself, and that certainly has been true of you. To me, you are a class of bigness. Let me explain that. I'm not talking about the bigness of a kind that we associate often negatively with big business or big government or big cities. Instead, I mean to say that you are a class that understands the value of belonging to something bigger than oneself. You've shown that security can come from a sense of mutual trust. Strength is found around points of commonality. You also know that with trust and comfort of belonging come also both freedom to celebrate and freedom to debate differences, and also the permission to be authentically who we are as individuals. Without understanding the value of belonging to something big and ennobling, you would have shown the typical and understandable reaction to the events of our time. We would have seen much more fear from you. Fear, of course, I think you know this, fear is the world's worst motivator, not only because it sometimes paralyzes action, but because it more often drives us to selfish action, towards survival, putting personal needs over the greater good. And you would have had excuses to do that. You've experienced much that could be described as frightening, events about which your responses could have been small, not big. They could have been fearful. You know, in your time here, you encountered news of the massacre at Virginia Tech. You witnessed the effects of earthquakes, tornadoes, and volcanoes. You pondered global climate change, the H1N1 virus, terrorism. You saw fear prompted by difference between Tibetans and Chinese and Palestinians and Israelis, conservatives and liberals, gays and straights. You experienced the fear of the possibility right around the corner that Grady Hospital might not be able to sustain its services, and the possibility that the global economic situation might doom you and your children to less prosperous lives than your parents enjoy. But rather than be selfishly motivated or paralyzed by these fears, you have not imagined yourselves as alone or even selfishly first in line. As a class, you have felt the embrace of each other and have committed to a large response. Our medical grads, our nursing grads, now more than ever, attend not to just the relief of sickness, but to the health of people. Not just to curing disease, but curing people who are afflicted with disease. That's a big calling. For our Rollins School grads, whether it is local health policy or global health, you too seem driven to address what serves the larger good, not just what serves you. Our law graduates, they understand more than ever that their responsibility extends beyond the critical defense of individual rights to include preserving, repairing, and building by rule of law that thing that our chair Ben Johnson calls the thin veneer of civilization that does not yet cover all of the earth. Our business grads, whose school declares its aim to prepare principled leaders for global enterprise, have seen firsthand what happens when the seduction of selfish gain undermines the broad creation of wealth through fair and efficient commerce. Our scholars of the arts, sciences, humanities at all levels in this class, bachelor's, master's, and doctoral, have a deep sense of how education helps one experience and commit to the public good, in addition to the private good that comes from being able to tack a diploma on your wall. For those of you that arrived here as freshmen in the fall of '06, you are the first Emory class to experience and support our wonderful Wednesday celebration of community throughout 4 years. Beyond community celebration, though, you valued community service. And I know this in part because it was on your watch that Emory was named as one of only 6 honorees out of 635 universities nominated for the President's Honor Roll for National Community Service. And our graduates of the Candler School, they leave us with a clear sense of their responsibility never to let the rest of us despair that there could be anything bigger than the love of God. Ladies and gentlemen of the class of 2010, I speak with confidence on behalf of your faculty, staff, and administration when I say that we are proud of you and that we are pleased that you have been part of this big community that we call Emory. When you leave here, you will, of course, still be part of us, something bigger than yourselves. But we have no doubt that you will also connect with even bigger communities and causes in the future. In fact, you must do so. Society needs that special combination you have of intellectual power and community wisdom that you've developed and exercised here. And so with every expectation of your success, congratulations on your achievements, and thank you for what you have been while you were here and all that you have taught us. Thank you very much. Now, as you leave this place, you will join an august company of over 100,000 Emory alumni spread throughout the world. We are honored to have today with us a special band of those alumni. They have demonstrated in their lives and careers the legacy of virtue and knowledge, that same legacy that is being today bequeathed to you. They're a group we call the Corpus Cordis Aureum, Latin for the golden core of the heart. You saw them process in. They are clad in gold robes with specially commissioned medallions. And these alumni are members of the 50th reunion class, as well as classes that graduated from Emory longer than 50 years ago, prior to 1960. This year they are marching in part in memory, loving memory and honor of Dr. Jake Ward, who passed away this year at the age of 97. But they march also to inspire us all by their example of lives well lived, drawing in part upon the benefits of an Emory education. Ladies and gentlemen of the Corpus Cordis Aureum, would you please stand and allow us to appreciate and recognize you? Please stand. Wonderful. Now, you may be interested in a few facts about yourselves. This graduating class of 2010 will be conferring about 4,000 degrees today. I'm told 3,969, assuming everybody passed their finals. 43% of you are men, 57% women. You know, every year that statistic gets a reaction. 47 of the United States are represented by our graduates. 532 of today's graduates come from 75 nations abroad, most of them with flags that we have on display at either end of the quad. 45 of our degree recipients are over 50 years of age. Yeah, that's more than blocking. The youngest bachelor's graduate is 19, getting a Bachelor of Science degree in NBB, Neuroscience and Behavioral Biology. It gets better. How about this? The oldest bachelor's graduate is 59. With a fan club, apparently. And receiving a master's degree in public health, our oldest degree candidate is 71. That's outstanding. But through today's exercise and the spirit on this campus, I think we all feel young. Now, students who have garnered honors and prizes are listed in your bulletins there on pages 36 through 48, a lot of honors and prizes on the program. On page 36 are a special group of students I'd like to acknowledge. There are 54 students who merit special attention by having earned 2 degrees simultaneously during their time at Emory, double majors. Would the recipients of simultaneous degrees please stand? And would all of you join me in congratulating them, as well as the other winners of honors and prizes? Please stand. Representing the many honors garnered by outstanding students and faculty members, there are 3 university-wide honors that will be presented at this ceremony. And details of the accomplishments of these 3 special award winners will be found beginning on page 4 of the program. First, and symbolic of all honors bestowed on students by this university, is the Marion Luther Brittain Award. It is an expression of gratitude for service performed without expectation of reward or recognition. To present the award, I call upon our Senior Vice President of Campus Life, Dr. John Ford.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present the 2010 Emory College Marion Luther Brittain Award to Alexander Stephen Kappas. Will Alexander's family please stand up so that they can accept this recognition with him?
The Scholar Teacher Award is next. It gratefully acknowledges the long and patient work of a member of the Emory University faculty. And it is with great pleasure that we present today the 2010 Scholar Teacher Award to the Charles Howard Candler Professor of American Church History, Professor E. Brooks Holyfield. Brooks. Congratulations. The Thomas Jefferson Award is Emory's premier recognition for service to the university as a member of the faculty or administration. And it is with great pleasure that I present this morning, the 2010 Thomas Jefferson Award, to Goodrich C. White Professor of African American Studies, Professor Rudolph Byrd. Professor Byrd. Will other recipients, great, will family, friends, and other recipients, past recipients of the Thomas Jefferson Award, please stand. Congratulations. It is my privilege now to present to you Ben Johnson III of Emory University Class of 1965. He is chair of Emory's Board of Trustees, and his role this morning is to authorize the conferral of degrees.
President Wagner, esteemed members of the university faculty, and distinguished guests, on behalf of the trustees of Emory University, I take great pleasure in accepting the recommendation of the President and the faculties of Emory University. I hereby authorize you to confer degrees upon the 2010 graduates, together with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This morning, we are honored to have on this platform 5 special guests who have distinguished themselves in the fields of business, politics, literature, medicine, and human rights. You'll find brief biographies of these eminent individuals on pages 6 through 8 of the commencement program, and we will be conferring to them honorary degrees. Before we confer the degrees in course to the rest of you, the honorary degree, honoris causa, is Emory's highest honor. Dean Thomas Lawley, will you present our first honored guest?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to place the name of Dr. Donald M. Berwick in candidacy to receive the degree of Doctor of Science.
Don, congratulations. Stand here behind us. Donald M. Berwick, physician and visionary advocate. From your earliest practice as a pediatrician through your distinguished academic career and beyond, you have served as a catalyst for improving the quality of health care for countless American communities. Drawing on lessons from other industries, you applied your findings astutely to the realm of clinical care. You have built strong partnerships, fostering will to change, and prepared the way for a growing revolution in care. Aiming to reform the system from within, you generated change by your riveting, passionate vision, always grounded in unimpeachable research and the test of real-world experience. As you prepare to serve our nation in new ways, we trust, we pledge our support and wish you Godspeed by bestowing on you the degree of Doctor of Science, honoris causa. Congratulations. Dean Robert Paul, will you present our second honored guest?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present Melissa Faye Green for the honor of Doctor of Letters.
Melissa Faye Green, author, storyteller, and Emory neighbor. With graceful prose, incisive humor, and the conscience of a social activist, you have set down for posterity unsettling, painful chronicles of modern communities in transition and of men and women seeking the freedom to live out their better humanity more fully. From your home in nearby Druid Hills, you have shed boundaries of race, religion, and nation to travel more deeply into hearts and minds shaped by experience we might call other, or foreign, or strange. You thus enlarge both our imagination and our moral sense. For your mastery in writing historical truth as artful truths of the human spirit, we gratefully bestow upon you the degree of Doctor of Letters, honoris causa. Congratulations. Well deserved. Thanks, Father. And Dean Jan Love, will you present our third honored guest? You take your time. You want this? I want you up front so people can see this. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Madam Dean.
I have the honor to present to you Reverend Dr. Joseph Lowry for the degree of Doctor of Divinity.
Thank you. Would you like me to hold this forward? Let me read about you. Joseph Eccles Lowry, prophet, pastor, and preacher, inspired by a radical gospel message of love and freedom, peace and humility, you have devoted your life to helping build the beloved community, one brick and soul at a time. With a humor that comes from hard-earned wisdom and that harbors a gracious and forgiving spirit, you have helped lead your flock, America, to a more blessed pasture, and have prepared a table of greater shared abundance for generations to come. One of God's trombones, you have lifted your voice and made the hills resound with the music of justice, the song of liberty, the refrain of goodwill for all the earth. Grateful for your ministry and rejoicing in your life, we confer on you the degree of Doctor of Divinity, honoris causa. Yes. Please take your time. Dean Lawrence Benvenisti, will you present our fourth honored guest?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present to you James D. Wolfensohn to receive the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters.
Jim, stand here so I can see. James D. Wolfensohn, international leader, humanitarian, patron of the arts, using a brilliant career in banking and finance as a springboard to fight for justice, you have traveled restlessly to eradicate poverty, disease, and ignorance. As president of the World Bank, you refocus that institution's noble mission while breaking new ground to fight corruption, alleviate debt, heal the environment, and nurture civil society. Your stewardship of eminent intellectual institutions has imbued them with greater vitality and influence. Your commitment to fostering cultural enrichment through great museums and concert halls has established more firmly the pillars on which enlightened communities can stand secure. For your exemplary service to humanity, we greatly confer on you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, honoris causa. Thank you. You know you honor us. Well deserved. And Dean David Bartlett, will you present our fifth honored guest?
Mr. President,
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present to you the Honorable Arnold Schwarzenegger to receive the degree of Doctor of Laws.
Dr. Schwarzenegger. Arnold Schwarzenegger, public servant, environmentalist, philanthropist, rising from obscurity with extraordinary creativity, energy, hard work, and determination, you exemplify essential components of the American character and the possibilities that exist for all people of this land. Your service in behalf of inner city school children mirrors Emory's own commitment to community building and education. Your deep involvement in Special Olympics echoes Emory's own long engagement with Georgia Special Olympics. Your leadership of California to the vanguard in mitigating global warming and environmental degradation places you in solidarity with Emory's own initiatives toward sustainability and a green campus right here. We therefore confer on you with gratitude and applause the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Congratulations. No, thank you. I'm going to welcome you to the platform right now. Let's stay put. Let's stay put. At this time, in fact, I would like to ask Governor Schwarzenegger to deliver our keynote address this morning. Doctor?
Well, thank you very much, President Wagner and Dean Podlett, for having me here today. Trustees, faculties, families, friends, and graduates. It is an honor to stand before you here and to receive this honorary Doctor of Laws degree. It is my first law degree. And finally, the Kennedys would think that I am successful. And finally, Maria can take me home and meet her family. Finally. Now, it is truly an honor to stand before you here on this joyous day as your commencement speaker. Now, I was also to go and give a commencement speech in Arizona. But with my accent, I was worried they're gonna deport me back to Austria. So I canceled that idea right away. Now, I know that each of you is about to start your next chapter. So I'm here today to just tell you my story. And I'm here today to inspire you and to pump you up. Of course, I have to say that not everyone is going to be as hungry as I always was, or as ambitious, or as intense. And let me tell you, if someone told me that something is impossible, I will go out and do it. That's just the way I always was. I was told to my face, you're nothing but a giant muscle. You can't act. You have no future, and you have an accent that is laughable. And that's exactly what my wife Maria said to me on our first date. So we worked our way up slowly until we got married. So now she doesn't say those things anymore. Anyway, I want to begin by congratulating today's graduates, and that's all of you, the amazing men and women of the Emory University's class of 2010. You are our nation's newest nurses, doctors, teachers, social workers, ministers, artists, scientists, business leaders, and the list goes on and on. You really are an amazing crowd. Nearly 4,000 men and women who have dedicated themselves to study and to service, to environmental action, to social justice, and to public health. I know your students' body is among the most diversified in our nation's leading research universities. You represent nearly 50 states and 75 countries. You speak dozens of different languages. As a matter of fact, I was so impressed how many languages you speak that I decided to spice it up a little bit and to deliver the rest of my speech in German. Es ist ein ganz großes Vergnügen, bei euch hier in der Emory Universität zu sein. Und ich möchte mich recht herzlichst für Ihre Einladung bedanken. Ihr seid 4,000 Studenten. No, I'm just joking. I'm not gonna do that to you. I saw some worried eyes out there. So let's give, of course, let's go and just talk a little bit about the special remarkable accomplishments of all of you that you've made. But of course, you would not be here today without the love and the support of your families. Let's give them a big round of applause for the great work that they have done. And let's not forget the faculty and staff whose hard work helped shape you into this tremendous people that you are today. Let's give them also a big hand. Now, over the last few weeks, I was a little bit worried about and was wondering what I should be talking about here today. So, of course, I sent my staff out and did a little survey here among some of your students. It was interesting when you look at the numbers. 17% wanted me to be inspirational. 23% wanted me to give practical advice. And 30% just wanted to have their money back from my movie Jingle All the Way. Can't get no respect around here. But anyway, the other 30% wanted me to say the following lines. So here we go. Hasta la vista, baby. It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all. Crush your enemies. See them driven before you and hear the lamentation of the women. I'll be back. So now we have that out of the way. I just try to satisfy everybody here. I really wanted to talk to you about my rules of success and about visualizing your dreams. Because it is so important to know exactly what you want to accomplish and what you want to do. I mean, the key principles also are, and they brought me incredible success always in several careers, from bodybuilding to acting and from public service to politics, are simply the rules of work like hell, trust yourself, break some rules, don't be afraid to fail, ignore the naysayers, and stay hungry. Let me tell you, I've made a fortune in several careers, and I've been very successful in several careers by ignoring the naysayers and believing in myself. Imagine you're 15 years old and you're in Austria and you say to the people, I want to be the bodybuilding champion of the world. Of course they come to you and say, but wait a minute, this is not an Austrian sport. Skiing, you should be a ski champion, a soccer champion, or a track and field champion, that's Austrian. But bodybuilding, that's an American sport. But you know something? I had it very clear in my vision and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a bodybuilding champion. And I started training 1 hour a day, 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day. By the time I was in military service, with the age of 18, I trained 4 or 5 hours a day. And I became the youngest Mr. Universe ever. The youngest world championship at the age of 20. So much for it can't be done. And right after that, because like I said, you have to be hungry, I went after my next goal, which was to come to America. My whole life I wanted to come to America. I came over here with empty pockets, but full of dreams, full of desire. I had this fire in the belly, and I knew that the United States was where I could really succeed. The possibilities here are endless. I wanted to live the American dream because this is the land of opportunity. I knew that this was where I could continue my bodybuilding career and start acting also, go into the acting profession. So I immigrated here, and I kept training and training hours every day, 5 hours, 6 hours a day, and won one world championship after the other. By the time I was finished with bodybuilding, I won 13 world championship titles, more than anyone. And then again, I was hungry to move on, because you can't do bodybuilding for the rest of your life. I wanted to move on, and I knew it was acting that I wanted to get into. But again, I faced the same obstacles where people said it can't be done. When I talked to agents, and they said to me, you cannot become just an actor and walk into movies. I say, I just don't want to become an actor. I want to be a leading man. They say, well, forget about that, and they laughed. I mean, with your accent, no one has become a leading man with your accent. And with your body, look at all those bumps sticking out. This overdeveloped body they were in 20 years ago when they did Hercules movies, but now it's Dustin Hoffman, it's Al Pacino, it's Woody Allen. Those are the new sex symbols. Don't you understand it? Look at you. Forget it, it will never happen. And with your name, Schwarzenschnitzel, or whatever your name is, I can see that already up there on the billboards. That isn't going to sell any tickets. But you know something? I didn't listen to them. I started working very hard, just like in bodybuilding. 5, 6 hours a day. I went to acting classes, speech classes, dialogue classes, accent removal classes. Everything that you can think of, I did. And slowly, everything started happening. All of those liabilities that they talked about started turning into assets. When I did Conan the Barbarian, the director came to me and he said, if we wouldn't have you, we would have had to build one. And on Terminator, the director said, I couldn't imagine to have anyone play Terminator that wouldn't have an accent and they wouldn't have your body. I cannot imagine the line, I'll be back, with a normal American accent. It works so perfectly that you have this German accent. So all of those things that they say are liabilities became an asset. As moment went on, it grew and grew, and I went from one movie to the next, started making more and more money, and then I ended up being the highest paid actor with $30 million on Terminator 3. That just shows you again so much for it can't be done. This is why I try to tell you, anything and everything can be done if you can visualize it and if you believe in yourself. It was the same thing again when I ran for governor. You can imagine when I went on the Tonight Show and I announced that I'm going to run for governor of the great state of California. People came to me afterwards and said, "You're crazy. You don't announce something like this on the Tonight Show. You have an official press conference at the state capitol. Plus, you don't start with governorship, you go start first with mayor or with state senator." And I said, "I don't want to be senator, I don't want to be mayor, I want to be governor. Don't you understand that?" Well, the rest is history. I won in 2003 and I won also in 2006. And let me tell you, you're going to find the naysayers in every turn that you make. Don't listen. Just visualize your goal, know exactly where you want to go. Trust yourself. Get out there and work like hell and break some of the rules and never, ever be afraid of failure. I couldn't have gone to one lifting event in my life if I would have been afraid of failure. Because of course there's a chance that you can fail. When you lift the weight, I tried 10 times to lift and bench press 500 pounds. And I failed, but the 11th time I did it. So never give up and never be afraid of failure, because otherwise you box yourself in and you limit yourself. I was never afraid to fail when I ran for governor. I was never afraid to fail to tackle anything, because you should not be afraid of failure. That's just part of life. I've lived by those principles and I've had a lot of fun doing it, and I made a lot of money at the same time. And of course, I have to tell you that no matter how successful you get, no matter how old you get, you always have to be hungry for more. You always have to be hungry for learning new things, because you never learn enough. I, for instance, learned, when I grew up, I always thought that greatness was directly tied to fame and fortune. I thought that the big career and the money and the achievement would equal success, but I was dead wrong. But I learned that later on. I learned that totally by coincidence. When the University of Wisconsin did a research program on what effect weight training would have for Special Olympians, for intellectually challenged people, they called me. They said, "Arnold, you're the expert in this subject. We want you to come up to the university and to help us with our program, to help us with our Special Olympians." And I flew up to the University of Wisconsin and I helped. And there were these kids. The first exercise we decided to do was bench press, and they were all standing in line. The first kid laid down on a bench. I put a 40-pound barbell over his chest, and he did a simple exercise of bench press. He did 10 reps. Then he got up, and then the next one laid down. I put the barbell over his chest, and then that kid started breathing really heavy, and all of a sudden he started screaming really loud. And he jumped up, I pulled the bar back, and he started shaking. I realized that he was scared of the weight. So I calmed him down. I said, "It's okay. Just watch your friends do the bench press, and maybe you want to try it again." And the friends came through, and they did all their bench press, and everyone did great performance. And then all of a sudden, he stood in line on the end and tried again. He laid down. This time I gave him the empty bar, just the 20 pounds. And he did 10 reps. And then I said, "You want to have more plates on it? More weight?" He said, "Yes." So I put 2 more plates on it. Now it was back to the 40 pounds that he had earlier. And he did 10 more reps. Then he said, "More." Then I put 2 more plates on it. Now it was 60 pounds. He did another 10 reps. And he said, "More." He did then 80 pounds. And then I lifted the weight off, and he jumped up, high-fived everyone, and he was so excited. And it was a real eye-opener for me, because when I saw that kid going from terror to self-confidence in that short period of time, and that I had that effect on him, that I could do that, I was so excited about this. As a matter of fact, I went home to the hotel that night, and I was so delighted, and I said to myself, "What is going on here? Wait a minute, I didn't make any money. It was not a career move at all. It was nothing. Why am I so excited?" Well, let me tell you, I figured out that it was because I was reaching out and helping someone that needed help. And my father-in-law, Sergeant Schreiber, who started during the Kennedy administration and Johnson administration, the Peace Corps, the Job Corps, Legal Aid to the Poor, Head Start, and all of those very important programs. He gave a speech at the Yale University, and he said it very clearly when he said to the students, tear down that mirror. Tear down that mirror that makes you always look at yourself. Tear down that mirror and you will be able to look beyond, and you will see the millions and millions of people that need your help. And I realized then when he said that, that's what happened to me that day. That I tore down my mirror that made me always look at myself and always worry about how can I get rich, how can I get famous, how can I make money, how can I make a career move. I tore down that mirror and looked beyond and saw all the Special Olympians that needed my help. So this was a great, great learning. That's why I say stay hungry to learn those new things. For years now, I've been involved in Special Olympics. For years, I've become the national coach, the international coach, the torchbearer, the ambassador for Special Olympians, and traveling all around the world and helping them, pumping up those athletes, marching in with them into stadiums, training with them, waiting at the finish line to hug them and congratulate them and put the medal over their head and hang it around them. This has been such a wonderful thing. It's such a satisfying thing. As a matter of fact, in one of those trips, I went to South Africa, and there I got to meet my hero, one of my heroes, Nelson Mandela. Talk about greatness. See, there's a different greatness than what I ever thought is so important. He spent 27 years in prison because he believed black South Africans should be equal. But when he was released from prison, he, instead of seeking revenge, he talked about forgiveness. Mandela said the most important thing was reconciliation and bringing his country together. As a matter of fact, after he was released from prison, he had lunch with the wife of the prime minister who was the architect of apartheid. Think about that, having lunch with her. The man that was responsible for putting him into prison. Mandela became a living message of love, inclusion, and tolerance. Now that is greatness. Helping others and looking beyond that mirror is my measure of greatness today. That's what makes me feel good about myself, and I can tell you today I'd rather go to an after-school program and help a little girl and play chess with her than going down another red carpet at a movie premiere. I know that one of the reasons that you invited me, one of the reasons why you invited me here today was to honor my commitment to public service. That is a great honor, coming from a university that has distinguished itself through service. I know that you're not just famous all over the country and all over the world because of the great education that you provide here, but also because of your extraordinary service in reaching out to the community and to the state. As a matter of fact, one of my favorite things that you do here is host the Georgia Special Olympic Games. What a great accomplishment. You've been doing this at this university for 2 decades. Let's give the university a big hand for that great, great work. Now, I want to thank you on behalf of my mother-in-law, Eunice Kennedy Shriver, who started Special Olympics more than 40 years ago. We lost her this last year. But I know that she's looking right down from heaven right now and smiling, knowing that I'm talking about Special Olympics and thanking you for the great work that you've done. Because she changed the world by starting the Special Olympics movement. And she's a shining example of the chain reaction that begins simply by one person taking that simple step forward. Of course, she had the naysayers. It wasn't easy. When she said, I wanted to take those Special Olympians, those people out of those institutions, everyone said, all the experts said, this is the wrong thing to do. If they start doing sports, they will hurt themselves and they will hurt each other and they will drown in a swimming pool. But she was not listening to the naysayers. She moved on, she campaigned and she called and pushed relentlessly for human and civil rights. And she never took no for an answer. And now, because of that, Special Olympics is in 179 countries all over the world. And millions of kids are now participating in sports and getting health care and dental care and getting jobs. As a matter of fact, I have a Special Olympian in my office. John is doing such a great job delivering the mail all over my office and always coming up with new ways of being more efficient. I wish the rest of the politicians in our state capital are as efficient as he is. Trust me. But this is extraordinary to see his work. And I believe that we each have the same responsibility to use our voice and to serve and to make a difference. I take that responsibility really seriously, and that is why I ran for governor of the great state of California, because I knew that it could reach out to 38 million people. And that is why it gives me such a satisfaction today. Believe me, when I was 15 years old, I never thought that I ever would become governor of California. I'm one of those fortunate ones that went way beyond his dreams. And another thing that I would have never dreamt in my wildest dreams was that I would work for free for 7 years as governor. Never. But I knew serving California would be an opportunity for me to make a difference, not only in my state, but to make a difference in this country and to make a difference in the world. Because as an immigrant, it is very important to give back, more so than on anyone. If you're born here, it's important to give back. But if you come here as an immigrant, it's twice as important to give something back. Because this country received you with open arms. This is the land of opportunity. I know that I would have not accomplished even 10% of the things that I accomplished if I wouldn't have come to the United States. This is, without any doubt, the greatest country in the world. Even though there's so many people complaining about America, I say to them, shut up. This is the greatest country in the world. This is why I wanted to give something back. So I became governor, and we started to make things change. We changed things to rebuild California's infrastructure, workers' compensation. We reformed government to make government run more efficiently and to fight global warming and reduce our greenhouse gas emissions by 25% by the year 2020 to fight global warming, and also not to rely on the oil that comes from countries that hate us. Yes, we're going to fight and continue doing that. And finally, we also woke up the federal government to make sure that they have an environmental policy in place very soon and an energy policy. Those are the kind of positive changes that I went after. With all of this action happening, it was all happening because we worked very hard. We didn't think about ourselves, but we thought about how can we help the state and the country. And we went out global. Now, of course, when I talk about this, when I talk about how important it is for each and every one of you to go out and do that, I don't think about that you should go global or that you should go that big. Like I said, I just happen to be very ambitious. You all should go and be hungry for success. You should be hungry to make your mark, and you should be hungry to be seen and to be heard and to have an effect out there. But as you move on and become successful, make sure to also stay hungry for helping others and looking beyond that mirror. Start by simple things like coaching a school soccer team, or helping a child learn and to read, or deliver meals to someone who is homebound. We in California now have 7 million volunteers. And I was the first governor to appoint a cabinet secretary to be in charge of volunteerism and service. Now other governors are doing the same thing around the country. Use your power of potential and make this nation and this world a better place. It worked for this immigrant that came over here to this country with $20 in a pocket, and I know and I guarantee you it will work for you too, the 2010 graduates of Emory University. I'm proud of each and every one of you of how far you've come, and I know you're going to be great, great contribution to this state and to the world. So congratulations once again, and God bless all of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Governor Dr. Schwarzenegger, we thank you for that academic message and that inspirational message. We're proud to have you as a part of the Emory family forever. I've been asked before we move forward to ensure that in everybody's exuberance and happiness that we nevertheless make sure we've got a path across the back that will be open for emergency services and ultimately for the recessional. We all need to get out of here eventually. So for those of you that are crowded in, if we can make certain we have a path, we would appreciate that. Well, now we come to the conferral of degrees, which is why most of you came, actually. The deans will present their candidates for degrees in the order in which the schools of the university were founded, with two exceptions, actually. The graduate school will have the pride of place at the end to connote the highest degrees awarded in course. That's Doctor of Philosophy degree. And the degrees awarded to this year's graduates of Oxford College, well, they were awarded 2 days ago in Oxford, Georgia. We should nevertheless recognize that, and so would previous graduates of Oxford College please stand so that we can applaud you. Thank you. You may be seated. And now, Dean Paul, will you present your candidates for the degrees in course?
Mr. President.
Mr. Dean.
Will the faculty of Emory College of Arts and Sciences please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President, I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Arts and Bachelor of Science. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for the appropriate degrees by the faculty of Emory College of Arts and Sciences.
You are heirs to a tradition of academic apprenticeship that reaches back more than 800 years. And you have proven yourselves worthy of that tradition, and so I hereby confer your baccalaureate degrees with all of the appropriate rights, honors, privileges, and responsibilities. Great congratulations to you all. Congratulations. And you may be seated. You heading off this way. Dean Lawley, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the School of Medicine please rise, and will the student marshals come forward? Mr. President.
Mr. Dean.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Bachelor of Medical Science, Master of Medical Science, Doctor of Physical Therapy, and Doctor of Medicine. Will the candidates please rise?
Wonderful. Trained.
These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for the appropriate degrees by the faculty of the School of Medicine.
Nice catch, thank you. Trained in the healing arts, you have demonstrated proficiency in the sciences and technologies that serve humanity. Shortly, you will assume responsibility for all who commit their health and lives to your knowledge. I hereby confer your medical degrees with all the appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations to you. And you may be seated. Dean McCauley, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the Nell Hudson Woodruff School of Nursing please rise? And will the student marshals come forward? Mr. President.
Madam Dean.
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of the Bachelor of Science in Nursing and the Master of Science in Nursing. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for the appropriate degrees by the faculty of the School of Nursing.
Your profession offers the highest commitment to care of the whole person in the midst of changing demands in healthcare. I hereby confer your nursing degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations to you. Dean Love, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the Candler School of Theology please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President,
Madam Dean,
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Master of Theological Studies, Master of Divinity, and Master of Theology. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for their respective degrees by the faculty of the Candler School of Theology.
you have learned to probe the spiritual mysteries, to minister to the often intractable spiritual ills that afflict individuals in society, to exercise pastoral leadership and healing discernment, and to offer a message of hope, peace, joy, and love. I hereby confer your theology degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations to you. Dean David Partlett, will you present your candidates for degrees in course?
Will the faculty of the School of Law please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President,
Mr. Dean,
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degrees of Doctor of Juridical Science, Doctor of Law, and Master of Laws. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for their respective degrees by the faculty of the School of Law.
as civilization rests on a foundation of justice, you bear the obligation to establish justice ever more firmly among us. I hereby confer your law degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations to you. And you may be seated. Dean Benvenisti, will you present your candidates for degree in course?
Will the faculty of the Roberto C. Gozueta Business School please rise, and will the student marshals please come forward? Mr. President,
Mr. Dean,
I have the honor to present the candidates for the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration and for the degree of Master of Business Administration. Will the candidates please rise? These candidates have successfully completed their course of study and are recommended for their respective degrees by the faculty of the Gozueta Business School.
accomplished in the language of trade, finance, and management, you are charged to go forth to accomplish the world's business with integrity as well as skill, fostering greater understanding among all peoples as the commerce of nations brings us in touch with what is different and new. I hereby confer your business degrees with all appropriate honors, rights, privileges, and responsibilities. Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Please be seated. And with the class of 2010, please stand and be recognized as Emory's newest alumni. Thank you. Class of 2010, we hope that you, like your fellow alumni, will maintain your ties to Emory, will help build its future, and will always feel at home here. As your colleagues, we know that the university has imparted values as well as knowledge, and we look forward to witnessing the leadership you provide in your communities of your choice. Wherever you go, you will always be a part of this Emory community, and you will take a little bit of Emory with you. As you make your mark in the world, stay in touch, stay involved, visit often, and let us hear from you. We wish you well, and congratulations.
Thank you, Paul. You may all be seated. Graduates, as you prepare to depart from this place for the time being, please cherish the memory of those who have worked so hard to help you on your way. Take a moment when you get a chance to look at page 9 of your program. You will find listed the honor roll of retiring members of the faculty and those retiring members of the general staff whose service to the life of the community has extended over 25 years or more. In fact, together, they have served you and me and all of us for more than 1,000 years. Will these faculty and staff stand so that we may applaud you for your gifts to us all, these long-time retiring faculty and staff? Where are you? And now would all faculty and staff stand so that the graduates may salute you for the knowledge that you've given them and for the tremendous work that you have done. Thank you, and you may be seated. And this is important. As Governor Schwarzenegger said, we need to have all of the parents, family members, spouses, friends, and loved ones gathered here today to stand so that the graduates may salute you for your love, your support, and your guidance through all the time here at Emory. Please stand. And thank you. You may be seated. Finally, serving Emory as its president, I have had the privilege, and I always receive the privilege, of speaking the last official word to the graduating class. As you embark on the next chapter of your lives, I hope that you will recall the words that express the vision of this university. Recall that your lives should be inquiry-driven, that your hearts and minds should be ethically engaged, and that the best community is the one that makes room for the miraculous diversity of humankind. Remember to be at work for positive transformation in the world through your own courageous leadership, no matter what field of endeavor you work in. We are privileged to have been together during these times, but with such great privilege comes also great responsibility. To whom much is given, after all, from them much also will be required. I have no doubt that with your Emory degree, with your Emory education, you will leave this place and you will do well. But even as you do well, I challenge you also to do good. On behalf of Emory University, I congratulate you and wish you the very best. For myself, I will miss you, and I wish you Godspeed. Congratulations to you all. And now let us all rise to receive the benedictions.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم I begin in the name of Allah, the most beneficent, the most merciful. وَالدُّهَا وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى مَا وَدَعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى وَلَلْآخِرَةُ خَيْرٌ لَكَ مِنَ الْأُولَى وَلَسَوْفَ يُؤْتِيكَ رَبُّكَ فَتَرْضَى أَلَمْ يَجِدْكَ يَتِيمًا فَآوَى وَوَجَدَكَ ذَائِلًا فَهَدَى وَوَجَدَكَ عَائِلًا فَأَغْنَى فَأَمَّا الْيَتِيمَ فَلَا تَقْهَرْ وَأَمَّا السَّائِلَ فَلَا تَنْهَرْ وَأَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. صدق الله العظيم. By the glorious morning light and by the night when it is still, the Lord has not forsaken thee, nor is he displeased. And verily, what is to come will be better than what has passed. And soon will thy guardian Lord give wherewith thou shalt be well pleased. Did he not find thee an orphan and give you shelter? Did he not find you in need and made you independent? Did he not find you wandering and give you guidance? Therefore treat not the orphan with harshness, nor repulse him who asks, but the bounty of thy Lord rehearse and proclaim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shekiyanu v'kiyanu lasaman chazeh. Blessed are you, Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who has granted us life, sustained us, and enabled us to reach this occasion.
Namaste. The Hindu tradition stresses greatly on the importance of the teacher, known as Guru in Sanskrit, especially in the realm of spirituality. The following chant is dedicated to all the professors and teachers who have guided us throughout our life. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnuhu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Translates to, the Guru is the creator, the Guru is the preserver, and the Guru is the destroyer. The Guru is the absolute. I bow before you and salute you. In addition, the Gayatri Mantra is one of the oldest and most powerful chants because it concludes with an appeal to the pure consciousness to illuminate our knowledge. It is from the Rig Veda. Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha Tat Savitur Varenyam Vargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. O thou existence absolute, creator of the three dimensions, we contemplate upon thy divine light. May the Creator stimulate our intellect and bestow upon us true knowledge. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Peace Peace Peace.
For a prayer to Tara, the Buddha of Enlightened Activities. Om Chom Den Den Mala Mojo Mala Chagsil Droma Tare Pa Mo Tutarai Jigun Selma Dure Donam Dam Chetema Soa Ige Chela Rahadur. Tare, liberator from samsara. Tutare, liberator from 8 fears. Ture, liberator from all disease. Soha, liberator mother, I prostrate to you.
Heavenly Father, thank you for all you do for us. You have stood beside us, and we pray that you continue to be with us as we head into this new time in our lives. We have knowledge, so please show us how to use it wisely and find a way to make the world we live in a better place. Grant us faith and courage and put purpose in our days, so our education, our knowledge, and our skill may find their true fulfillment as we learn to do your will. And may we be aware in everything we do that knowledge comes from learning, but wisdom comes from you. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
Amen. Now please continue standing for the singing of our Alma Mater by a special commencement a cappella quintet. The lyrics are printed on the first page of the program.
In the heart of dear old Emory, where the sun does shine, that is where our hearts are turning round old Emory's shrine. Praises, sons and daughters true. Hail we now our Alma Mater, hail the gold and blue. Though the years around us gather, crowned with love and cheer, still the memory of old Emory grows to us more dear. We will ever sing thy praises, sons and daughters true. Hail we now our Alma Mater, hail the gold and blue. We will ever sing thy praises, sons and daughters true. Hail we now our Alma Mater, hail the gold and blue.
Outstanding, John. Outstanding. Well, let's first, I would like the graduates of Emory College of Arts and Sciences to be seated, since you will be remaining here. And would all families and guests please be seated as the faculty and non-college graduates march to their respective diploma ceremonies. And those ceremonies will begin at the times and locations that are on page 8 of that program. And we are adjourned. Please clear the way and let the recession begin.
Ladies and gentlemen, please clear the sidewalks so that the recession may pass through. Please clear the sidewalks.